Richard here at Richard Guitar. Hope you're doing okay today. Today I'm going to talk to you about what you can do with 3 chords and how you can make 3 chords a little more interesting once you've got these 3 chord songs under your belt. Great song that I'm using today is Heartbeat by Buddyholly. Really, really iconic, and it's got some really identifiable sounds in it. Now, if we look at the chords that we're using A, E and D, or A, D and E, however you want to put it. You usually see that a lot with Buddyholly stuff. People say, oh, it's A, D, E or A, E, D. It's the same 3 chords. A, D and E. And really quickly, if you're here on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Now, if we look at the rhythm, using the rhythm I use and say it on pretty much most of my videos, down, down, up, up, down, okay? But we can make that sound. Now that sound there, and really, really funny, that sound always reminds me of a Sunday night at home when you hear that and you hear your mum and dad in the front room and you'd hear this. And then all of a sudden I get a shout saying, get your school bag ready. Always reminds me of going to school on a Monday morning, does that. So that's, if you're similar age to me in your 40s, you might relate to that. If not, you probably think what the bloody hell's he talking about. But yeah, always gives me a bit of a chill when I hear that, thinking of, oh no, I've got school tomorrow. Now, what I like to do is give that a nod to the A chord. So you're not just going. Now what you can do with that, you can make the A go to A sus4, and all I'm adding is my little finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. Now then on the E chord, you can do the same thing, so it's major to sus4, and then moving up to the E, major to sus4. So A to A sus4, and then E to E sus4. Now then you'd get into your verse. Now in this record, there's a lot of things going on, and it's, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it's 1958. If I'm wrong, please comment below, but I'm sure it's 1958. So you hear a lot of techniques going on, which for me is quite ahead of its time. And you hear this lovely palm mute, and there's a bit of a triplet effect going on in there as well. And what I like to do is try and get this high. Now other things you could add, depending on where you're at ability wise, is go down to the A. You could use it as a bar chord or half a bar chord, I call it, which is like an F major 7 on the 5th, 6th and 7th fret from string B, G and D. And you can also use that A sus4 technique there. And then if you wanted to go to the E, you can use, that's a bit Stonesy's that, bit Keith Richards. So that's another place you could go. I mean, I'm exploring options here. I'm not saying that I would use all these, but I'm just trying to give you a few sort of ideas moving up and down the fret. And again, the point of this video is to try and do something a bit more spicy, let's say, with 3 chords, okay, instead of just staying here, here and here, okay. So if I was going to kick it off, you could have using that triplet, then maybe then back into verse, A, D and E, maybe use it again. Then you got your next part, E, D, and A. And again, if you want a sheet for this, I've got a link below. You can go take it with a few of these diagrams to help you out, okay? So this isn't really sort of, you know, me showing you how to play a heartbeat. It's giving you some ideas what you can do with these 3 chords, and I'm sure you've learned many songs with A, D and E. So where you can, think of a sus4 or a sus2. Whenever you see a sus4 or a sus2, it's always close to what I would call the home or the mother chord. So when you have A sus4 is here, would be, if you're right-handed like me, to your right. And then if you wanted a sus2, that 3rd finger would come away. And then on the E sus4, you're adding that little finger. And you'll see it in all your open chords. D, D sus4, D sus2. So it's always very, very close to your open chord. And try not to shy away. Try not to think, yeah, I know A, I know D, I know E. Right, what's an A sus4 or an A sus4 or an A sus2? It's usually pretty close. Okay, so that's something I want you to try and take. Now, one other thing that I want to really share with you is this. Now, this is that A6 chord. Now, I don't think he's playing the full chord at the end of this, but I've seen it on tabs where you can finish it off, again, with that lovely, lovely sound. So if you were, let's say you were finishing it off. Now, to get that, I use that in a lot of my blues playing as well, to finish a tune off in A major. So I've got my third finger on the last two strings on the 12th fret, and then my first finger on string D and G on the 11th fret. You ignore your low E string, and you want to hit all 5 strings. Now that gives you your A6 chord, okay? So I would use that like it does at the end of, I was just going to say the end of Heartbeat, the television programme that's in my head now. Keep thinking I've got school tomorrow and I've got to do my homework. I never did. Now, what we'll do is we'll just run down. We've got the A, the D, the E. You can have the sus4, you can have the E sus4. And if you want to do a nod to that double stop technique, which is lovely, and then if you want to end it on that A6, it's so dreaming, it's so lovely. Again, if you want the sheet and some little tips, just hit a link below, you know what to do, and I'll send it right over to you. Please keep looking out for these lessons. This was a little bit of fun for me because I've been teaching this lately, and I've had a few people to ask how you can, tap more into chords. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and here, please subscribe if you haven't done.